Welcome, Sinome, and welcome to this crypto update. I've been very happy with the Bitcoin price action since we found this low at $80,500 because since then I told you guys when Bitcoin pumped back to 90K that it's likely, very likely that we will go and have a attempt at a low once again. And I told you guys essentially two levels that Bitcoin is likely to go to 84K, which it did, or maybe it will go to have like a double bottom here at $80,000. But we had the 84K pump, and from there we went to 94K, like I told you guys in the previous update. We haven't gone to 99K yet, but as you can see from this trend line, that is essentially where Bitcoin is currently targeting if we can break to the upside. And right now we had that breakout on the RSI, which I showed you guys in the previous updates as well. And what is really funny with Ethereum is that Ethereum is already having that breakout also on the RSI here, but it also broke out on the price. So Ethereum is currently front running Bitcoin on this price move, which is typically a signal that altcoins are about to follow suit. But there is one little problem which I will show you guys on the chart first. Then we will talk about the news and we will talk about the fundamentals, obviously. So I told you guys previously that what happened here was essentially the same that we saw during this time. That is likely that we have that another attempt at a low, and we kind of did that. But unfortunately, this low did not give us a bullish divergence here on the RSI like we had here. So let me show you guys this one. So we had a higher low here on RSI while we have a lower low here on price. So that gave us a bullish divergence, and from there it was essentially smooth sailing to 124K. So we have not had that divergence. If we have a divergence, that would be amazing, but currently we do not have that, so not all stars are aligned. One more thing I want to show you guys on this chart is that the price action right now is very familiar to me from 2021 bear market. So we went from this all-time high here, 69K, down to about 33K. And from there, we had the same trend line. We actually were able to push up from that trend line. This would be about the 99K, which I showed before. And from here, we went for a low. And this one did not give any bullish or bearish divergence here. And from there, we went sideways for a while. And then essentially everything fell apart. And then we had that prolonged bear market. So if Bitcoin is about to do something like this, then we're actually looking for a bear market for 2026. And that is currently my belief. What will be happening is that we have a failed rally to the upside to that 99K, 100, 101K, some price level around here. Maybe we go to 110K or so. And from there, the sellers will come back and we go for a bear market for quarter 1 of 2026, quarter 2 of 2026, and maybe by the second half of next year, we will be looking for a bear market bottom. But there's one thing which I also want to show you guys is coming from Binance. So Binance is now saying that we are going to see a market comeback in quarter 1 of 2026. And this is coming from the head of research at CoinMarketCap from an event from the event by Binance just yesterday. So I'm not exactly sure where they are getting this data. Maybe they believe it's gonna be like a rage-filled bull market where everybody's sentiment is so low that institutional investors are having a fiesta. They are buying everything, and eventually they will be bidding the prices higher. And as the prices are a bit higher, the retail investors who get sidelined now will come back in full FOMO, and that is essentially going to be the quarter 1 blow off top, maybe something like that. I can see it happening. It could easily also be the case Everybody's just giving obviously their own analysis of what they think or what they want to happen. So I'm just giving you guys this contrast as well because it is definitely a possibility. So I'm not going to discount that. Then we have the Ethereum Fusaka upgrade live now on Ethereum main network. And when I was looking at the statistics, yes, it fixed essentially some of the problems that Ethereum had, but essentially everything when I was looking at the on-chain metrics and statistics and gas fees on layer 2's, gas fees on layer 1 Ethereum blockchain, everything was the same. So nothing really essentially has changed. They have fixed some minor problems. So this upgrade here did not really change anything in my opinion. Maybe by tomorrow some of the data will be different than today, but essentially everything is the same. Maybe you get a little bit lower fees on layer 1 of Ethereum, but on layer 2s of Ethereum, when they burn a little bit more Ethereum, it doesn't seem to have any impact at all on Ethereum burn rate, which is very low at the moment already. And even if layer 2s burn Ethereum, the fact that layer 1 transactions are cheaper, that means that there's less burning of Ethereum. So overall, not really much change other than layer 1 of Ethereum is now a little bit better than before. Uh, I'm not going to talk about this news here, but then we do have an update coming from Michael Saylor's strategy company. So they have now announced the formation of a $1.44 billion USD reserve. So previously they had this USD reserve, sorry, they did not have any major USD reserve, they only had the Bitcoin reserve. And now that they have the USD reserve, this is actually a good thing. It doesn't mean that they don't have a plan for Bitcoin to go up. It just means that they currently have about half of this $1.44 billion in yearly liabilities because of their debt products. So right now, this means that they have cash reserves to pay out dividends and to pay out the outstanding debt for the next 2 years, and they are able during that time to fix or find new funding or whatever. So this is actually clearing a lot of the fear from the market that Michael Saylor's strategy is going to go belly up because they have this cash reserve. So they are not going to be burning or selling Bitcoin in the near term. So in my opinion, this is a very good thing to see. At least it gives us a bumper before they start selling Bitcoin if things go very badly. And then I want to talk about Bitcoin treasuries.net a little bit because when you track this account here on X, or when you go to the Bitcoin treasuries.net, which I often do, and I will go to their website soon, but there are still companies that continue to accrue more Bitcoin on a weekly and monthly basis. So as you can see, a company from China, I think this is not I don't know what this flag is. I'm not gonna. Maybe it's sorry, I don't know the flag. You can laugh at me at the comments, but then we have a US company, German company, US company, and a South Korean company as well buying more Bitcoin. So there are still people who just want to buy more and more Bitcoin. So this is obviously nice to see. On Venezuela attack front, nothing really has changed here. It is still imminent, and it seems like some of the negotiations they had with Trump and Maduro went a little bit south. So let's see. The airspace is now closed, which is obviously not good. So I'm still expecting the attack to happen, even though it has been prolonged for almost 2 months now, and this is looming fear is still in existence. But if this blows up, I believe we will have a buying opportunity from that. So it is still on the background. Then let's actually hop over to fundamentals. And first, let's talk about USDT on Tron network. Now, I have been an investor of Tron network for quite a while. And I actually sold my Tron holdings not too long ago because I did not like what I saw with their USDT profile as I was seeing the USDC growth. I was seeing USDT growth on Ethereum, but not on Tron network. And then we saw the PayPal USD growth and all these things, but there was no growth on Tron network. Now, when we take a look at the USDT transfer statistics, these are actually still quite good. So on a daily basis, there's about $30 billion worth of USDT transfers every single day, except weekends it drops to about 10-11 billion. So that gives us a floor on the weekends, but during the weekdays there's about $30 billion worth of transfers every single day. And if you just take a look at the nature of this chart, it is actually in an upwards trajectory. But what was worrying to me with USDT is when I take a look at the USDT supply on Tron network. What was annoying here is when we take a look at the 2022 situation here, USDT kept growing and growing and growing until 2022 when it suddenly started to fall apart, and that was essentially the lows of the bear market. And when we saw this blip here on September, this should have been my warning sign that okay, the market is about to fall. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait to see if they are going to have another major drop in USDT supply on Tron network. And they did not have any change here from the middle of September throughout the whole of November. But this week, we have seen that they actually increased the USDT supply by 1 billion USDT. So this is giving me the signal that now suddenly there's more demand once again. And this is good to see. So I actually bought back my Tron investments. I did uh, make a little bit profit between, or I was able to buy it a little bit lower than when I sold, but not anything significant. I guess I sold my Tron network tokens a little bit too late, but this is good to see overall, not just on Tron network, but overall crypto, because it is giving us a healthy signal that even though we're talking about bear markets and all these kind of things, there's still huge demand for Tron network and USDT, and we have not seen this consecutive USDT supply drop on Tron network. So overall, this is good news, even if you are or are not a Tron network investor. Hopping over to bitcointreasuries.net, last time I showed you guys this, we had 355 entities holding Bitcoin in their reserves. Now we had 357, so that's an increase of 2. But when we take a look at the total amount of Bitcoin in ETFs and treasuries and all things together, for the first time since I started updating, we actually have seen a negative growth here of minus 1.13%. So this is not what we want to see. So last time we had 4,050,000 Bitcoin in strategic Bitcoin reserves and ETFs together, and now we only have 4 million. So this is not what we want to see. There is still demand on institutional side, but unfortunately there has also been sell pressure. On the Ethereum front, however, everything is the opposite. So here we have more Ethereum in strategic Ethereum reserve companies, about 230,000 more Ethereum. So that's a significant bump to the upside. And also on the ETF side, we have an increase as well. So Ethereum seems to be having more demand than Bitcoin. So this is a good signal for Ethereum and perhaps even for altcoins. Like I already showed you guys USDT growth on Tron network, we're seeing health, and on Ethereum, we're seeing more on-chain health than on Bitcoin as well. So overall, this is an interesting thing to see. Looking at sentiment.net, there has been some important updates here. First, when we take a look at the supply of Bitcoin on exchange reserves, this has continued to go down even as Bitcoin hit this 93K price level. And when it hit this 94K price level here, it has continued to go to the downside. This means that investors, whales, are still acquiring more Bitcoin even as Bitcoin is having a relief rally. So we might actually see more upside here based on this metric. Then looking at the total stablecoin market cap, this has now increased for over a week straight now. So again, giving us a healthy signal that there is demand on this space. So it went from $263 billion to now $268 billion. So in a matter of 1.5 weeks, that's an increase of about $6 billion or $5.5 billion. So that's a significant bump to the upside, completely shattering this sideways action that we had for a little over a month. So that is obviously good. But in the short term, when we take a look at the Bitcoin holders, we are seeing huge redemptions here. So on December 3rd, we saw wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 90 days move 44,000 Bitcoin at this peak here. So even though some metrics are giving us bullish signals, there are still sellers on the market, and when they see bumps like this, they are currently active once again. And this is poison. This is one of the signals I do not want to see. I want to see growth on Bitcoin price and old whales just refusing to sell, like we saw here on November 7, 8, and 9, and on November 30th. We did not see whales selling their Bitcoin, but now we are seeing that once again. So this is very alarming from my perspective. I guess those are the most important metrics there. Now let's head over to short-term fundamentals. Looking at Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we have this hotspot right above us right now, about $95,000. It is in hot yellow. So this liquidation zone is currently in danger of getting liquidated. And if we actually go there, we would break this resistance line here to the upside, and then we are most likely gonna head to about 99k as well to go to this resistance line here, and it would also come to this support line, this trend line as well. So 99k seems to be the target where Bitcoin is gonna go if it's gonna follow Ethereum in the short term. So that is in the short term looking quite optimistic. And then hopping over to liquidation map, many liquidations are starting to pile below us. So this is obviously not great. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin liquidation map on the weekly, taking into consideration all of the different exchanges. You can see this same hotspot right above us to 95k. Then it already starts to taper off, but there are aggressive long orders and long liquidations right below us. People do not expect lower prices again. So there's about almost $8 billion worth of longs if we had another attempt at a low at 81k or so. So there's very aggressive longing of Bitcoin on chain at the moment, on exchanges at the moment. So that's there. And also in the short term, we have this bearish signal. So when we take a look at the aggregated spot order book depth, you can see that this has aggressively, we're seeing huge amounts of spot sell limit orders entering the exchange order books. So currently the delta is negative $73 million. So when we take a look at this, last time we saw as much sell pressure was at this peak here, when we had that downward trend and price tried to go to the upside. We fell below it. It took us a couple of attempts. We finally broke above it, and then the bear market continued to that 80k low here. And before that, at the peak here, we had same amount of limit sell orders within a 3% price move as we do now. So this is giving me a signal that sellers are very aggressive at the moment and are happy to sell if Bitcoin has a little bit moved to the upside. The aggregated futures order book is currently also giving us some sell signals as well. So the only way for us to move forward is if we see market buy orders at this resistance that will push the price through this resistance. So we currently I'm not seeing that, but maybe it will happen. Uh, but at the moment, the risk to reward doesn't look great for the upside on Bitcoin. So taking all of this into consideration, um, um, okay, yeah, I'll skip that. It doesn't really give us any major information. So taking this all in, going to the 1 hour chart, you can see we are currently dancing on this resistance level. We went above it a couple of times, we fell below it, went above it. Now we are right below it as well. And the RSI is giving us some kind of a, in the short term, some kind of a bullish divergence here. So here you can see that we had a lower low on the RSI, but we had a higher low here on the price. So if you consider, let's actually go a little bit lower as well. Let's go to 15 minutes. Let's see if we have the same thing here. So here we do not have that same bullish RSI divergence. So it's not exactly, I don't like these short term like 15-minute or other charts that much as I like the 1 hour and the daily charts. But it exists here, it doesn't exist on the 15-minute chart. It could break to the upside. If you see Bitcoin price essentially breaking 94,000 and let's say $300, then it's actually likely that we go to that 99k or 98, 99k price level. Maybe we weak a little bit above this trend line here, and then we fall back below it. Another option is, which is one of the members who shared a chart with me on the Discord group, which is free, by the way, if you want to join. He gave me this idea here. So I will draw it for you guys that you can see it, which would be that the RSI falls down. We go almost back to 30 level. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has a lower low here than this. This would give us a bullish divergence, so we would have a higher low on RSI, but a lower low on price. If we see something like that, then it's actually likely that we will go for a bull market, or at least a little bit higher form of relief rally than this. But another way we could see a bullish divergence is with this low here. So we go maybe 92k, we take out all of the longs here that are currently on the chart. We go to like 82k, and we just liquidate $8 billion worth of longs here. We go take a new low here on the chart, but from here the RSI goes below this level, and we have no, sorry. um, RSI would not go that low. So if RSI has a move like this, that would give us a bullish divergence, because we had a lower low here on price but a higher low here on RSI, and from here we could have a move back to the upside. So right now essentially those are my two options. If you just long Bitcoin right now, it doesn't seem good in my opinion. The risk to reward is not that not that good. If we see 82k or something like that, that would be a very beautiful place to go long on Bitcoin. Or if we break that $94,300, then you could actually take a long from here and have your stop loss at about 92k, and then target that 99k price level. That could be another idea for you guys in the short term. But be careful with this market. There's a lot of predictions. And one of the worst things that you can do if you believe that we are in a bear market is that when you see a relief rally, you believe that, okay, now we're going to head for a new all-time high. And this is essentially the final trap of the bull market. And many people, whales, they will be exiting here like crazy. And the retail investors get suckered in. And then we head for that huge bear market. if we see something like that, that obviously would be a repeat of 2021, and usually it doesn't play out that perfectly, but I'm just laying out the worst case here is that be careful. We have broken a lot of these different trend lines that we were relying on for this bull market, and right now we are below these trend lines. So in my opinion, we are in a bear market. By the way, we retouch this support line here. So there's another reason why you should be bearish at 99k. So be careful at this market. I'm currently still longing some altcoins like LDO, and currently I bought back the TRX because it has more stable coins once again. And also I want to give you guys an update on the Circle price because this has had a very beautiful move. I shared this to you guys here almost at the absolute low when it was $66, and now it is $86 already in a span of 2 weeks. So that was an insane price move, 30% move on a stock asset that you were able to buy on chain if you watched my video on that. But that was another beautiful move there. I'm not going to comment more on Circle right now. This video is already a little bit long. That's essentially the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoy the analysis, where sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm correct, but I at least give my honest opinion anyway. So like the video, subscribe if you want more of this. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.